All right, everybody, welcome to the call. We are going to go ahead and kick this thing off. Before I get started, we do need to go ahead and just read this quick risk disclosure. So I'm going to pull that up on the screen so we can go through it together here. And then we're going to get into going through a lot of the data. Now, I want to thank all of you from tuning in around the world. So to get started, for many of you, just go ahead and put in the chat box where you're calling in from around the world. Just let us know what's going on. I know it is early in some parts of the world, so thank you for tuning in if you are live on this call. Now, to get into it, some of you might be tuning in also on Facebook, YouTube. If you're tuning in there as well, go ahead and let us know where you're calling in from as well. Now, to get into it, we need to get into this risk disclosure first. To start off, trading in the foreign exchange market carries a high risk and it may not be suitable for all investors. Trading in margin and utilizing leverage could carry an even higher level of risk that could lead to a complete loss of investment funds. So before deciding to trade the foreign exchange market or use any of our software or alerts products, you should carefully and diligently consider your personal investment objectives, your level of experience, your risk tolerance. There is a possibility you could potentially sustain a significant loss. You should not invest or trade any capital that you cannot afford to lose. And you should understand all the risks associated with foreign exchange trading and seek professional advice from an independent certified financial advisor if you do have any doubts. Auvoria Prime LLC does not exercise trading authority over your trades. You and you alone exercise discretionary trading authority over every single trade. Now, if you're sharing any results from using GearBox, which are only allowed in our designated Facebook groups, please do not use the term company recommended settings. Auvoria Prime does not have any recommended settings. Auvoria Prime is not a financial advisory firm. Auvoria Prime licenses software that users can use however they want at their own risk and discretion. GearBox does not come with out-of-the-box settings upon initial setup, which customers have the ability to customize their settings however they do want. Auvoria Prime has nothing to do with a customer's broker account. We do not solicit or take investments. No brokers are recommended. Again, Auvoria Prime just licenses software and sells amazing education that users can learn and potentially benefit from. Any settings I share are the developer settings and not take any form of trades. A lot of great professional traders sit out. Now, I told many of you, since you are getting access to GearBox for your first week, to trade on a demo account, as you should with any brand new software when you first get it. Now, I ran all my live accounts through election week, every single one of them. In fact, I didn't even make any changes. I was telling many people you should try it on Super Sniper if you're going to run USD pairs or maybe eliminate the USD pairs for data testing and for my own belief in the product I created. I ran them on Swing. I ran some on Sniper. I ran them through everything. Now, I want to share that data with you guys because what happened last week was actually incredible. I told a lot of people that GearBox is a product that plays well in volatility. And we had what we would consider a somewhat volatile week. And GearBox definitely did perform during that week. So we're going to get into showing some accounts and get into a lot of the different data that we have. Now, remember, you can find all of this education in the AP Academy live section in your back office. Go into your AP Academy, and then also the EA Academy is coming soon. So all these recordings are there. All prior week insights are there. So you can go ahead and also find all of those there. But again, we're going to review last week's market. We're going to go into an outlook of the coming week's market. We're going to look at some of these live trading accounts I have, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you what strategies I'm going to be using this upcoming week myself, which will most likely be the same strategies I used last week. And again, you can find your setup course in the AP Academy. If you're brand new GearBox user, And I am going to do a Q&A at the end of this on any questions, anything you guys experienced last week. If anyone noticed any forms of bugs, I know it was our first week rolling out with everything on the AP Connect platform. So at the end, we'll get into a Q&A as well, so I can address any of that. Now, let's go ahead and let's get into sharing some accounts. And the first thing I want to do is I want to actually pull up right here for you. I haven't connected every single account yet, but I told many of you I was starting $500 GearBox accounts, each running an individual currency pair. And the reason for this is I wanted to make sure that, and let me go ahead and move my camera over here. There we go. I wanted to go ahead and collect data on swing settings, because these are the earliest entry settings that I give out. I wanted to see how they perform on every single currency pair on a $500 account. Now, I haven't connected all 25 yet to the FX book, but I believe we got like 15 of them right here. And this is how we've been doing. You can see I started these like October 27th. Today is November 6th. So that means we've got about 10 days running, almost 2 weeks of data. And you can see how many of these currency pairs have performed. You can see what their drawdown was on an account as small as $500, how many pips have been caught using the swing settings. And this provides individual data on what every single currency pair is doing at any given time using the GearBox strategy, which was really my intention and my goal. And I just want to make sure, let me check the chat. You guys see this screen, right? I'm not looking at, you guys actually see all the FX book perfect. I know sometimes I accidentally show the wrong screen, so I want to make sure that you guys are seeing everything. So this is how it did on every single individual currency pair. Now, you can see the results. Then I want to get into a ton of different accounts that we have connected up here. I'm going to go and start on the 24 pair accounts. So these are accounts I've had running for some time now. Some as early as starting on June 4th. This account was funded in May, but we didn't start trading until, sometime in August on that one. But what we'll go ahead and do is we're going to start and look at this 40K sniper account. Now, this is an account that is running the traditional sniper strategy, 3 max pairs trading. So the 1,000+ sniper strategy with 3 max pairs trading and 24 pairs scanning. So it's scanning all 24 currency pairs for entries. And you can see this account has, in the time it's been running, which is about 3 months now, it has taken only 85 trades total, and its profit factor is 15.89, which is incredible. You can see on average, it's going for 49 pips. You can see its best trade, it caught 176 pips. And, you can see it's just very low exposure, and it's gotten a 37% gain, only taking a total of 41 lots on a larger account. So low lot exposure, typically looking for much larger moves in the market, and it's trying to stay in, as little drawdown as possible with its strategy. Now, we'll go into some of the other 24 pair accounts here, and let's say we want to take a look at this 10K sniper. Now, this is an account I actually had off for about 2 months while we were making updates to the software. Its first month, you can see it ran from August 4th to September 4th or so here. It was up over, actually, in the first month, it did 11%. It just got turned back on. And you can see in the past week and a half or so since it turned back on, you can see November, it was literally just turned on this week. And you can see this week alone, it had about a 7% gain, almost 8% gain. And this is the sniper strategy on this account, running 3 max pairs, all trading, but all 24 scanning. You can see it's only taken 36 trades. Its profit factor is off the roof right now. And you can see on average, it's as well going for 60 pips. Its best trade was 156 pips. We're going to continue going into some of these. And remember, this is election week, so you guys can see election week. I mean, and I'm going to do actually a custom analyst on some accounts I'm going to show you guys here soon as well that I literally just turned back on for election week. So I want you guys to see how they did. As well, here's a $1,500 account that just ran through election week. You can see this account had a great election week as well here. It started at 46%, and it's at 59 now. So I'm not sure if you guys are catching how this thing performed during election week. Now, this is trading 6 max pairs. This is what I would consider a more moderate strategy. I am sticking to the 0.01 per thousand rule. I am actually using a swing strategy on this, so it is getting into trades a little earlier than sniper strategy. But you can see that it had a growth from 46 all the way up here to it's now 59% growth or so that we've experienced. So had an absolutely incredible last week during elections with this account, trading 6 max pairs on the swing strategy. You can see that the swing strategy indeed does get into more trades. This account has taken 250 trades as it is entering in earlier than sniper or super sniper. It is going to get into more trades as it does take a little less of a precise setup to actually get into a trade opportunity. Now, we'll continue to go. I have a 2000 sniper, and let's take a look at how it did during this election week. Now, you can see as well, it was at 64 or so right here, 65% going into the second, and you can see that we are now at 81%. So election week did incredible for this account. This is a sniper as well, but it is trading 6 maximum pairs at any given time. That is as well, like I said, a more moderate strategy, and the gains it experienced during election spoke for that as well. But as you can see, this account has still only experienced a 12.5% drawdown, trading 6 pairs at once on the sniper strategy. Just absolutely incredible. It crushed it through elections. And like I said, I ran all these accounts through elections. A lot of people were like, hey, let's get out of the market. I knew that GearBox, it loves volatility. Now, I'm not saying get overly confident. You have full control again, and risk management is everything. But for the sake of data and also my own personal beliefs, I wanted to show exactly what GearBox could do during a volatile time such as election week. Now, we'll go on and continue checking it out. Now, remember, I did say this can work on $250. I did tell you that. Now, that doesn't mean that you're not going to experience a higher drawdown. You don't have a lot of equity in the game. You can see this $250 account has at some point experienced a 40% drawdown. That's acceptable. A $250 or a $500 account getting into a 50% drawdown at some point, that's got to be expected with the way the market moves and having such little equity. But again, it can work, and you are seeing it work in real time on this $250 account. Now, I'm not telling you it's going to go be profitable for someone month 1, 2, or 3, right? But I think it's more powerful the fact it can work and somebody can see it work on such a small balance and see success. We're going to continue going through. I have a few more accounts I want to share with all of you guys, specifically some ones that I just turned back on for election after this one. This as well as a 500 sniper. You can see it's running 2 max pairs trading. You can see this one's experienced a lower drawdown. It maybe was in a different pair at the time the 250 got into drawdown. It didn't get into that trade because I'm limiting the max pairs trading, right? So that's the same reason why I have all these $500 accounts running 1 pair each, because I want to see what anyone could be experiencing at any given time, being the fact that you are limiting the max pairs some of your accounts are trading. You could start 2 accounts back to back, one 30 seconds later than the other, and they're going to trade different currency pairs because it's whenever those opportunities arise in each specific software. So that's, again, why I run every single pair as well on an individual account, so I can know what anyone could be experiencing running the GearBox strategy. Now, I want to do show you guys some accounts. These accounts as well were turned off for about 2 months. They ran for a month, were turned off for 2 months. Now they're turned back on. They ran through all of election week. So I'm going to start with the swing. This is running 24 pairs, max 3 at a time, and 0.01 per 1K. Now it just ran through all of election, and I'm going to show you. It was up 7%, and in election week on swing settings, it did 7%. So you can see it ran from August 4th to September 9th, and then was turned off, turned back on just for election week here. And you can see 7% growth on this larger account with swing settings. You can see the drawdown as well has stayed low. So far on this, it performed incredible during election week. We're going to go in and check out a sniper here. This is one running a little bit of a higher lot size. So I'm running a 0.01 per 750. So increasing my risk a little bit using the sniper strategy, pretty default strategy, just increasing my risk a little bit with the lot. And as well, you can see that this account, we turned this one back on October 26th. So prior to that, it was only up 4.91%. So since October 26th here, you can see that this account went from 5% all the way up to 19% right here, 11% just in the month of November here, and a little 2% at the end of October before we turned it off. And this is, again, the sniper strategy. All just ran through elections and had incredible performance as well. I'm going to show you a sniper a little more aggressive as well. This one we're sticking to 0.01 per 500, otherwise known as, a 0.02 per 1,000. You can see I just turned it back on October 14th here, and October 27th really turned on here. And since then we went from 3.87% up to 16 here. So we had about 14% growth since turning it back on the end of October. And this is as well as sniper, a little more aggressive. And, you can just see how these are performing. You can see that it performed incredible during a week such as election week, right? So I wanted to share a lot of that data. There are tons of other beta tester accounts. We're going to be gathering a list of a bunch of my FX books and the specific strategies they're using, how many max pairs they're trading, right? If they're only trading the 7 majors, if they're trading all 24 majors and minors, we're going to continue to get all of that data out. Now, I've been talking a little bit. I've showed a lot of election week data. Some of you got access to GearBox for your first week this last week. So I want to transition into a little bit more of a Q&A session where I can get into answering some questions, checking out the chat box, and really just help everybody better understand the strategy, how to trade the next coming week. I'm going to continue to use the exact strategies I just showed you. I'll be running swing on every single one of those 500 accounts to gather data. I'll be running multiple 10Ks with swing and sniper and different risks with between more pairs trading or increased lot. Again, if you do want to increase your risk at all, the typical rule of thumb with 1 in 500 leverage is 0.01 per 1,000 starting lot size. If you are using lower leverage than 1 in 500, such as 1 in 200, I would maybe decrease the lot size by 30%. If you were using even lower than 1 in 200, such as 1 in 100, I would decrease the rule of thumb for lot size by 50%, if that makes sense for those of you who are using lower leverage accounts. Somebody asked, do all GearBox users get the same trades? I believe his name's Badar. Do all GearBox users get the same trades if you use the same strategy? And absolutely not. No, they don't. The reason for this is you could start 2 accounts back to back with the same strategy, scanning all 24 pairs, but say one of them was one tick off of the other and it decides to enter USD CAD, and the other one says, oh no, I caught an AUD USD, right? And it becomes, because you're limiting the max pairs trading, even though you're scanning all 24, you're limiting between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pairs trading at once. So every account's actually going to trade different currency pairs technically. Some might be in the same, but for the most part, they're all going to trade very differently, being the way the risk settings are set up to only allow you to enter a certain amount of pairs at any given time. Somebody asked, is the issue with starting lot change during ghost trades running now solved? That issue should be solved for this weekend's rollout. If that does happen, we will go ahead and put that in the change log. I'm going to read through the Q&As here. Just quickly. Somebody said, Subhash said here, I am moving first time GearBox next week. Just a quick question. Does it trail stop loss from Gear 0? If you use a Gear 0 and a Gear 1, it will it will trail those. Sometimes it will occasionally trail higher entries too. It will not always do that. It does it if it sees the need to. It's a little more random, but 0 and 1 will always be trailed if you did enter on a 0 or 1. Do you have any data on account with swing trade max 6 if I had a 10K account? I do, Philip, have that data. I shared it. He asked if I had any data on a swing trade running 6 max pairs. And that account would actually be right here. This was a $1,500 account running a 0.01 per 1,000 max pairs 6 trading at any time, scanning all 24, and this is the data on it. So you can see it takes a lot more trades. It has experienced a higher drawdown. Its profit factor is lower. It has experienced a higher average loss trade than its average win, which the snipers tend to have a higher average win than ever a average higher loss. But as you see, it's still a profitable strategy and just maybe a little more higher risk since you are risking getting into trades sooner and taking more potential currency pair trade setups at one single time. Let's go into any ideal FTMO setting, somebody asked. I get asked this every week. I am going to start playing with FTMO. As I start playing with FTMO, I will report back on my FTMO data, anything I find. I would tell most people if you're going to use FTMO, I would use super sniper settings and I'd allow max pairs 3 trading. And I would probably stick to a 0.01 per 3K just to start off to be super conservative and, see how you do. It's you are going to be very conservative, but you're going to experience very little to no drawdown, which with an FTMO account, really the focus needs to be staying in, 1 to 2% drawdown max and seeing profit, which that would be how I would first probably try and start. And then I would increase maybe my, my max pairs trading if I kept the lot size low on an FTMO, or maybe just increase my lot rule of thumb as I really get to play with it and see what's going on. Just starting off to see that it takes a little time to find the first trade. Yes, the one thing about GearBox is you do need to have some patience. You should always see a few trades a week minimum. Even on a slower week, you're going to see trades. If you haven't seen a trade and you set up last week and you didn't see any single trade, there could be a box that you need to uncheck. I'll actually share my screen and show it real quick. Let me go ahead and pull this up. So what you're going to want to go ahead and do, I'm pulling this up. Give me 1 second here. Okay. So if you are running into a spot where you're not seeing any trades, what you're going to want to go ahead and look at, let me share my screen. So if you set up GearBox last week and you haven't seen any trades, you want to go ahead and go into tools on your VPS and then hit options and then go over to expert advisors. And in here, you want to declick these. Disable automated trading when the account has been changed. Disable automated trading when the profile has been changed. These two things will tend to stop somebody from trading. You also should just allow DLL imports and allow web requested URL. These aren't as important. The main things is that you unclick these if these are checked, because these might occasionally stop you from getting into trades, because it might actually disable your trading even though you think it is on. So just go ahead and take those off. It's a good safety precaution. And if you are somebody who didn't see any live trades this week, that'd be what I would take a look at. Let me keep going through our settings and our Q&A here. We have a lot of great questions, a lot of settings. A lot of questions. I'm going to continue to go through and provide the best answers I can on settings and questions. Somebody said here, Chris asked me, would you expand your concept of gears? I'm not sure necessarily what you mean, my concept of gears, or expand on your concept of gears. So gear is simply just a cost average entry. So each gear is, again, going to be a later entry into a trend. So the software will trade behind the scenes every single currency pair in a notepad. And then when it reaches a specific trade where you want it to enter, basically studying the average movements of these different currency pairs and where they have their reversals, their retracements, you're going to choose where it's very highly probable that you're going to get into a winning trade, which is kind of what swing, sniper, and super sniper strategy are, just more precise strategies based on historical data of where some of the best opportunities to get into trades on specific currency pairs is. And simply all it is the gear is going to be that next cost average trade and just waiting. So you could go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and say, I want to enter on 4. So you've already had this whole period of a trade go against you. You're not in any trades on your account. And now you're getting into this trade right before it goes back, it goes down, wherever the market needs to move and where you're entering, whether you're entering a buy or sell. Daniel asked me, do you look to close open trades by Thursday and Friday, or through weekend do you hold trades open? Daniel, I go for the most hands-off experience possible. And what I mean by that is my goal was to design a product that required little management for people, and not the stress of trying to close trades before weekend all the time. Could it be a great risk management habit? Yes. If you're in floating trades going into the weekend, absolutely. You should close them if you want. Do I? No, I often tend to leave them running. But let's say you looked and you were in floating profit on Thursday or Friday and you wanted to get out of the market. Absolutely. That's up to you. But for myself and the accounts I've been showing, I just let them run, to be completely honest. I do look at them constantly. The most I might do is sometimes I close a trade near its take profit instead of waiting for it to hit the take profit. If it's 10 pips away, sometimes I'll just manually close it. But that's really about it when it comes to the management side of these accounts. Charles asked, can you explain the risk change from going from, say, 3 pairs up to 6 at once? Well, you're doubling your risk. Essentially, you are doubling your risk. You're doubling the amount of trades you can take. You're doubling your exposure. You're just doubling your risk. That's really what it is when you go from 3 to 6. Maybe if you didn't want to double your risk, but you wanted to trade another pair, maybe you go up to 4 max pairs trading or 5, right? 6 is a big jump. I go from 3 to 6 because I want to show data on both. But really, there's an in-between too. You could do 4, you could do 5. It's up to you and your risk. You could increase your lot a little. For those people who are looking to just get a little bit more, you could, as I mentioned, increase your lot size or increase your max pairs trading. Those would be really the 2 ways I would increase risk or even decrease risk. I see somebody said, I have the MAV version. I've been receiving notification failed messages on the terminal window of the MT4. If you are getting your notifications and you are able to approve and decline them, then that might be one of the other backend messages and things we are trying to adjust and address. As long as your trades are entering and you're getting your notifications to approve and decline trades, then for right now, you're fine. That's more something on the back end you might be noticing that we're working on. Please explain the difference between fixed and trailing on 100 weekly goal and 50% buffer. Great question. I actually do want to go ahead and address this. This is a great question. So you do have a trailing weekly goal or buffer, whatever you want to call it, inside a GearBox. So I'm going to just go ahead and actually pull up my screen and show you exactly what that is and what that means. So give me 1 second here. 24 pair count. Awesome. You guys are going to see I have a lot of VPSs running, as you'd imagine, with GearBox. So lots of VPSs. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull this GearBox up here. You can see this is my my 50K account here, and it did almost 60% last week. In fact, last week I withdrew the profit, as you can see right here. So super exciting, super cool. You can see that these in live action. But I do want to go ahead and explain the different goals, kind of what they mean. So let's get in here to trailing weekly goal. So you'll see when you log in, this is what you're going to see. You won't see the variable there. Expert settings, and you have your weekly goal and your trailing buffer, and then you can choose whether a fixed or weekly. So if you choose fixed, simply whatever you have here, when you hit that goal, it's going to close it. If you choose trailing weekly goal, all right, this is your buffer, and this is where it activates. So if you put your weekly goal at 1% and your buffer by 1, that'd be break even. That means at 1% weekly goal, it's going to activate your weekly trailing, and it's going to buffer by 1. This would be break even on the week, right? Or if you put 3 and 1, when you get to 3% on the week, it's going to trail by 1. If you went back to 2%, it would close out all trades and secure your 2%. If you went up to 7% and went back, it's going to secure 6%, right? So it's just going to activate at 3 and it would trail by 1. By default, I just have it at 150 because it's never going to do that. And it's more, like I said, GearBox is one of those strategies that you tend to just run it. You're not looking to really make those changes. Now, if you want to make those changes and secure less profit or just get out of the week when the profit does exist, you can do that. Like, for example, a week like this where there's a home run week and this account did 11%. Maybe you might have want to use the trailing buffer. So again, that's up to you and it's all personal preference, but that is how that weekly goal setting does work there. Let me keep reading into our chat box here. Jamal, I see your question. You started the software this week, trading on demo. Will software do any live trades or just ghost trades? You might need to do the thing and go into tools and options and unclick the disable buttons under expert advisors. I just addressed that a few minutes ago. I'll show it again real quick, just in case you didn't see it, because I have a feeling some people might have experienced that. I did get a report that some people were experiencing no trades, and this would be the only reason why. You're going to go over here into tools on your VPS, hit options, and then go under expert advisors and make sure you deselect these two boxes here. And you could select these if you wanted to, but make sure you deselect these and just hit OK. That should fix it. If you're one of those users who set it up and didn't get any trades, I am going to go back into the setup video and add this step in there in case it's something that is affecting other users. Urban asked a great question. Do you have an option to check on all accounts that deletes the ghost trades and start of the new week? Or so this is a default setting in the software where it's actually going to go ahead and delete the ghost trade. So if we go into my account here, where did it go? 24 pairs. If we go into the settings here, you're going to see that this is actually a setting, delete ghost trades at start of the week. So what it'll do is it'll always delete the ghost trades at the start of the week, as long as you have this set to yes on each currency pair. The only reason it would not delete the ghost trades is if you do have real trades open. What do I mean by that? That means, an example on this account, I have USD JPY and USD CAD open. If these trades are open when the market closes, when it resets and deletes the ghost trades at market open on Monday or Sunday night, it's going to go ahead and clear out all ghost trades besides ones you have real trades open. So in this case, it would not clear USD CAD and USD JPY because there are real trades open, but it will always clear the ghost trades at the beginning of a fresh week if you have this put as yes, which in the strategies, they are by default yes. You can change that if you do want to. We'll continue going into the chat box here and read in some questions. Melissa asked a great question about, do you know more or less about how long after you set up GearBox it'll catch a trade? That's, again, I would check that setting I just showed to see if that might have been a problem for you. But I will tell you, you need patience. As you saw in some of the MyFX books, I have my 50K account, which in 3 months has taken 85 trades total within 3 months, which means realistically there's 2 to 3 trades typically on average in any sequence. We're really looking at, I've possibly in 3 months would have approved 30 trade notifications. So you can see you're not going to get a lot of notifications or trade alerts for GearBox. It is, it's taking very precise trades. Darnell asked a great question. Is there a video that explains what each setting means? Darnell, this is coming. This will be in the EA Academy shortly. I'm looking to get all of that out this upcoming week. Just doing some final testing on some things to roll out some updates to possibly GearBox Loader and GearBox this weekend. And then I'm going to get into recording much more education on each setting. Pascal, great question here, asked what's the difference between swing double TP, swing ghost plus reels. And so Pascal, the difference between swing and sniper and the ghost plus reel or double TP. All right, so first let's start with the difference between swing and sniper. And I'm going to go ahead and give a visual real quick just so everybody has it. Let me go ahead and give you this visual. So let me share my screen back here for you guys. Looking for where, there we go, share screen. Oh, I am sharing screen. What? I don't know what screen you guys were even staring at, but there we go. So now that you guys see this data, okay, you should see swing entry is going to be a gear 2 on all these currency pairs, the blue. These are where your entry is going to be on swing. All right, if you're on sniper, you're looking to enter on a gear 3 on the majority of them, and on some of the more volatile pairs such as GBP and Euro AUD, you're waiting much longer, such as a 5 or a gear 6. And then Super Sniper, you're going to be waiting all the way until, say, a gear 4 or potentially higher on most pairs, and then even all the way to a 7 or a 6. And then you'll also notice that within the settings of the software, you also have it set up. You have it set up as well where automatically, if you'd like it to, it'll actually increase your gear as well after Wednesday or whatever day you select. Typically for me, I know with this strategy that there's bigger moves in the market after Wednesday. So auto change on Wednesday to enter +1 typically on every currency pair, a higher gear entry. I want to go for a more secure entry later in the week, as I know that's going to be a more precise trade opportunity. So if you see only gears above 3, that means that you're entering on a gear 4. If you see gears change to gears above 4, that means you're entering on a 5. So you're always entering one higher than the number shown here. And you also can have it auto change on whatever day you want to a higher one. Or you could say no and just let it always enter on, say, 4. So you do have the ability to customize that as well. Now, I addressed that question, Pascal, on what was the difference between swing and sniper. Now you might be asking what's the difference between double TP and ghost plus real. So what a double take profit is it simply means is if the software entered that trade and it did not calculate the drawdown from the ghost trades, it only calculated it needed to make profit on that one trade it entered on the real market, it would take what that take profit would have been and double it. So it's going to go for a lot smaller of a move with a double take profit. So it's going to be in and out of trades a lot quicker. It's going to get in and out much sooner because it's going for a smaller move when it's looking for a take profit. Now, a ghost plus real move, let's say you enter on Euro AUD on, say, a level 6. Ghost plus real, even though you only have that level 6 trade open in the market or gear 6, whatever you want to call it, it's going to actually calculate your profit based on if you were in drawdown from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So it's going to be calculating the profit it needs to make on that one trade to balance out the drawdown you would have been in on all the trades that actually are in the Ghost server. So basically, Ghost plus Real just is going to secure much larger take profits, and it's going to go for much larger moves. In turn, this also means you could get stuck in a consolidated move for a longer period in time waiting for it to hit its take profit. Whereas with smaller accounts, it might be safer to use double TP because you're going to get into more trades sooner and get in and out. So that would be the difference between the take profit settings as well as the entry settings. So swing and sniper are different entry settings. Double TP and ghost plus real are different take profit settings. What is the difference between max equity protection risk and balance protection mode? Simon asked this question. This is an incredible question. The difference between your max equity risk as well as where you're actually going to use balance protection. So I'm glad you asked this question, Simon, and I'm excited to cover it. So the first thing is your max equity risk. This is going to be when it closes you out of all your trades. So if you put this at 20% and you get in 20% drawdown, it's going to close all trades and stop trading. I've never been a fan of when a software closes out all of your trades. So I do leave that setting here. By default, it's set at 100 for a reason, because you have balance protection and initial deposit protection mode and notifications of drawdown all on. So what are these other risk settings? Because nobody likes when you close all your trades and you take a loss, right? And no one's really a fan of that. If you need to see another day, it's great. But I came up with these ideas where I said, instead of just closing a loss and taking the L, how can we make it to where someone's safer to stay in those trades and potentially get out if something ever did go wrong? And we added first notifications of drawdown. So at 10 and 20%, you're going to get notifications. And then you have balance protection mode, which first you have protect initial deposit mode. What this means is, let's say you deposited $10,000 and it grew to $10,500. And then all of a sudden you took a losing trade of $501 and your balance was $9,099. The software is going to completely stop trading because you're below your initial deposit. It will not take any new trades. It will not exit the current ones that are open, but it won't take any new ones, and it'll continue to manage the existing ones. Same thing if you get into a 25% drawdown. So balance protection mode is based on drawdown. So if you get into a 25% drawdown, what balance protection is going to do is it's going to immediately stop taking any new trades, but it'll continue to manage your already existing trades and monitor them, but it will just stop taking entirely any new trades. So I thought that these were incredible settings for black swan events and crazy things that happen, because nobody wants to just hit a max equity protector and close out all your trades. But you also don't want it to continue to just take a ton of trades if the market's going against you or something crazy happens. So by adding these extra risk management features, you're able to get your notifications if those drawdown amounts happen. And then you're also able to have it automatically stop trading if you were to ever even hit a 25% drawdown or whatever setting you decide to put there. But by default, it is 10, 20, and 25 for notifications and balance protection mode. So great question, Simon. I'm going to continue into our chat here. Felicia asked an incredible question. She said, I'm always stuck with not responding. How do I manage this problem? Felicia, this is actually, GearBox is such a CPU intensive EA that we're actually in the process of working with our VPS providers to figure out getting more power to our VPSs for GearBox, as we know there's going to be users that want to run 4 gearboxes, 2 gearboxes, 3 gearboxes, and 1 gearbox alone is very CPU intensive, meaning it requires a lot of processing power. So we are talking to our VPS providers, and we are working as well diligently on a solution to increasing the power for you to be able to use your trading softwares. Nope, hold on. It says I need to plug in my Mac. Give me 1 second. I don't want us to lose each other here. Okay, I'm plugged back in. So let me continue going through all the questions. And we have so many amazing questions here. A lot of question answers, a lot of chat box. Chat, the Q&As. Bear with me. I'm glad you guys brought so many amazing questions to today's call. It makes me extremely excited. You're trying to learn how to use this and have the most success with it. Zen Trader asks, can alerts be set up when the first trade activates on any particular pair for those outside of the USA? So Zen Trader, if you wanted it to operate like this, you may just want to use the MAV version, as it is pretty cool. One of the other cool things about the MAV version, which I'll share with you guys now, which might get some of you excited, is the MAV version could almost also provide solid trade opportunities that you could take on another account if you wanted. And what I mean by that is you have your max pairs trading. In this account example, it's at 6. Now, let's say with the MAV version, I'm already in all 6 trades, but another trade is at its proper trade execution. It'll still send you the alert. Just if you approve it, it won't enter it because you already have your maximum open. But what's cool is you'll actually get alerts of any time a trade opportunity meets on those 24, even if your max pairs is already deployed. So really a cool thing about the MAV version as well, if you're looking to see when good trade opportunities are happening anyways, even outside of approving them on this specific account. Can't seem. Zen Trader said, can't seem to save templates inside MT4. Is that a restriction due to company settings? And yes, any templates you want to save, you can save them on your desktop of your VPS. You are allowed to do that. Anthony asked, how much can GearBox generate income in a week at least? I can't even answer that question. That's not even, again, it all depends on you, your settings, your risk, how you manage your account. There's lots of variables there. And again, it's the market. You get what the market delivers you. There's no average for this week or that week, right? It's like, look at election week. I just hit a home run election week on all my accounts because there was a lot more volatility than other weeks. So, right, are all weeks going to perform the way election week did? Absolutely not. In the experts tab on the terminal, I noticed certain pairs would show notification fails. Ashley, I addressed this earlier in the call as well. As long as you're getting the notifications to your actual Auvoria Prime back office and you're able to approve them, that may just be a back-end notification that we're working on with different responses. And we already are aware of some of that and we're working on it. As long as you're able to approve your trades and they're entering, you don't need to worry about that for right now. Is there a way to change some settings in all pair at once? Stain, currently, there's not a way to change the settings in all pairs at once. We are working on upgrading the GearBox loader to have it where when you use the GearBox loader, for those of you who are aware of the GearBox loader, I'm going to go ahead and just pull it up for a quick second. Give me a second to pull up. I'll just pull up another chart here. I'm going to pull up the GearBox loader. And what you'll see happen here with the GearBox loader is right now you can choose your strategy. I want it to be at a point where you can not only click to use the strategy, but after you click to use a strategy, it's going to ask you what lot size to set and also how many max pairs you want to trade. So to be able to preload your lot for you and preload your max pairs trading, that is going to be in our next upgrade of the GearBox loader. We're currently working on that to make this a much more advanced product and make your setup process even easier. So that will be coming as well in the very near future. Darnell asked if I can go over each setting. Not on this call. That'll be in your EA Academy, which you'll be able to get into. Yeah, we'll just ignore that for now. I don't need to do that at the moment. I could, but you might get that when using GearBox Loader. You are supposed to register for it if it pops up for now. We are working on also removing that in the next version of the loader. But we did throw the loader together very last minute to accommodate for the template loading issue on the AP Connect VPSs. Edward said, can you explain these three options in detail? Real trades only, real trades double, take profit, ghost trades plus real trades. I do believe I just did explain that in some detail on the call as well. So if you didn't understand that, it's just each one's going to be a larger take profit. Real trades only is very small take profits. Real trades double take profits going to be a bit bigger, and ghost trades plus real trades is going to go for even larger take profits. It's all really just variable on whether you want to stay in each trade longer or shorter, how quick you want to be in them, how long you want to stay in them. That's really going to be the difference between the take profit settings there. Patrick asked, when changing setting lot size, do you have to do this individually in every chart? Absolutely. You do in the current moment until the upgraded GearBox loader comes out. On the Argo said, what size lot size on the 58K account, and was there 6 pairs at the same time? No, Argo, there was only 3 pairs at the same time with sniper strategy on the 50K account. It was scanning all 24, but only trading 3 max, and the lot size was my rule of thumb of 0.01 per thousand. Jolanda, I believe you're looking at the wrong account. You said you have a starting lot size of 0.03 on your 50K account. No, I have a 0.03 on my 3,000 account, which is the one you're looking at right now. The 50K account is right here. And if we were to pull up that, you can see it is a 0.5 starting lot. So yes, 0.01 per thousand is my rule of thumb there. And that is what I do stick to. What account size do you recommend for GearBox? This is a great question. 250 works, 500 is ideal, and 1,000 plus is really what you want really when using any form of cost averaging strategy or anything along those lines. Lisa said, would there be less trades on a demo versus a live account? No, it would be the same. Depending on your broker, that is, of course. If your broker's demo environments are the same as their live environments, I can't really answer. There's thousands of brokers out there, so I'm not sure who you're using. But typically with a good broker, you're going to see the exact same experience on demo as live. Considering that there will most likely be fewer trade notifications than I've been accustomed to with Alexander, I'm likely to not be as attentive to the alerts. With that said, is it safe to still accept the trades within any time frame, or should I focus on accepting trades only within an hour? Warren, that's a great question. I would stick to accepting trades within an hour of approval. If they come in later than that, you can always decline them and see if a new one comes. That's what I would do on any trades that are there that existed for over an hour. Simply decline them and just wait for the new one to come through. Badar asked a question that I have covered as well. Do GearBox users get the same trades if they use the same strategy? No, they do not. They will all experience different trades. I did cover that early on in the call. What are the range multipliers and position size multipliers? A range and position simply going to be your cost averaging strategy. So your range and distance between each trade. So let's say you enter your level 0 on Euro USD, and then you have it set at 21 pips for the range. All right, it's going to wait 21 pips till it enters the next trade, and then the range multiplier is going to multiply that basically. So your range multiplier would then go from 1.15 or 1.35, whatever you have it set at. So in this case, 1.35 for the range multiplier. So it's going to multiply 21 times 1.35, and that's how many pips it's going to wait till the next entry. And same with the position size. It's going to go, say you have a starting lot of 0.01 or 0.5, whatever it is, it's going to multiply your position size by the 1.15 that's set and increase the lot on each next level. Darnell said, when you choose a strategy, do you have to go into certain pairs and change settings yourself? Because some pairs open later gears like GBP and Euro AUD. Darnell, when you use the GearBox loader, it should load the proper settings for you on Euro AUD and GBP AUD and all the GBP pairs. You can go check the 6, which would be Euro AUD and the GBP ones, to see that it did put the proper entry. But GearBox loader should load those for you, and you should not have to do that. Bren asked here, with a $450 account running one pair, what would you recommend? I can't make any recommendations, but 450 is the same as 500 to me. I would stick with a super sniper strategy and choose which take profit I wanted to use. Christopher asked, is it possible to use the Q&A instead of the normal chat so we can see other questions? Yes, I am going to actually get into the Q&A any second here. We're almost at the bottom here of this chat, and then we're going to get into the Q&A questions. Philip, I don't have data on a max 6 pairs running Super Sniper account. Super Sniper was really designed for a $250 account specifically. I'm not tending to use it on larger accounts than that. That would be something you could do if you wanted, but really Super Sniper is such a precise entry that I was really sticking to use it and designed it specifically for such small accounts that didn't have a lot of equity to get into trades for a long period of time. Charles said, I have 25 pairs open in GearBox. Can you remind me which pair is the only one available on certain brokers and whether we should include it if our broker has it available? Charles, the specific pair you're asking about, I believe, is NZD CAD. I don't believe the broker I use has it. So I've been trading the 24, but we do have the data on all 25, as you see. So if you do have NZD CAD, you could include it. That would be the 25th. Edward, great question. He asked, can you explain this in detail? I'm going to show you guys this visual here. He asked, can you explain pause new trades? Okay, what does this mean? And does it pause it for all pairs? So it's actually not pausing trades. It's pausing new trends. So you see new trends are okay. So what this means is, let's say you were in a Euro USD sequence and you didn't want to get into another one when that one completed. You would hit pause. And basically what it's doing, it's not going to pause trades. It'll continue to finish whatever sequence you're in. But once that's complete, it will not enter a new one. So what could this be used for? Well, let's say instead of using a trailing weekly goal or a weekly goal to get out of the market, you just wanted it to complete all the trades it was in and not get into any new ones. You could go in and hit pause on all of these. And what it'll do is it'll finish all the trades it's in, continue to manage them. And then once it's out, it's not going to enter any new ones. So that's also a feature that can help you get out of the markets when you do want to get out of the market, or say you want to switch to a different broker, whatever it may be, whatever reason it is you want to get out of any open trades on your account. You would simply just go pause new trends on all the charts, and it's going to finish any open trades and complete them and not enter any new ones. So that's more of one of those features we added for those people who they might want to get out of trades every once in a while, or for something like election week, right? Last week, if someone wanted to get out, maybe they paused on new trends, let it complete the current ones. So that would be that, Edward. Now, let me get into the Q&A. We have some incredible questions. I'm going to be getting into all the Q&A questions here. I see during demo trading, does the software do live trades or just ghost trades? Jamal, I believe I did answer this. It will do both. Magdalena. Delina. I hope I said your name right. I hope I didn't butcher it. She said, I'm loving GearBox. Thank you for your efforts. A few questions here. What does new trends mean on GearBox? I just answered that one, so I'm glad we covered that. Do ghost trades play out as real trades? If a sequence is opened as ghost, can it get closed before it reaches real trades and open again as a ghost sequence? The answer to that question is yes. So the ghost trades play out just as real trades. If a ghost sequence completes before it reaches your real trade execution, it'll close them and open its next sequence in the ghost server. So behind the scenes, the software and the base algorithm is trading all of these pairs you have open in a notepad. And just when it reaches those specific opportunities where you believe it's a precise enough entry for it to open on your real trading account, it's going to execute it. If the max pairs traded at once is reached and ghost trades on another pair hit their real trade gear, the software will not start trading it real. Will the ghost trade sequences continue? Yes. To answer this question, let's say, for example, you had your max 3 pairs deployed. And this operates differently depending on if you're MAV or US. So I'm going to explain it first with the normal GearBox, the auto, not MAV version. Let's say you have your max 3 pairs deployed. So I'm going to find an account with some trades open for an example. Here we go. We have an account here with some trades open. Okay. In this case, this account's example, you can see that I do have 1, 2, 3. I have all 3 pairs open. Now, let's say one of these other pairs I'm running had an entry opportunity. What it's going to do is as soon as one of these pairs closes, it's going to look at what the next highest gear is open in the ghost server that meets my entry requirements, and it's going to take that trade. Now, if you're using the manual MAV version, it's going to send you trade alerts even after your max pairs is deployed. So I could have all 3 deployed here, and it's still going to send me an alert when the next trade is available to take. Just if I hit approve, it will not take it because it already has the 3 open. But it will send you the alert regardless if you are on the MAV version. So you'll see anytime a pair meets your trade opportunity, even if your max is deployed. Let's continue going through these questions. If we're in trades on a pair, we carry them over the next week. The ghost trades get closed over the weekend. Will the software take new real trades when they reach the proper gear? Or if it sees that real trade's already open, it won't open a new real trade? No, the ghost trades will not get cleared if you have real trades open. So it'll only clear ghost trades if there's not a real trade open on that specific currency pair. Otherwise, it'll continue to run that sequence how it is. This is a great question. Is it enough to mark max pairs trading at the same time on only one pair? So let's say on all of these pairs, you had it set to 3, and then you increased one of them to 4. I have done this, and I believe this does work. You can go ahead and verify. I will double verify again after this call, but I did experience this actually by accident on an account before, where it was my $250 account. I had them all set to 1, and one of them was actually set to 2. And I saw I had 2 pairs open, and I had to go figure out which chart it was. So to answer your question, yes, I believe if you do increase just the max pairs trading on one chart, that will apply globally. Well, you can continue gathering data on gears numbers in your Excel spreadsheet. How is that data gathered? No, that data was gathered over a year ago. I haven't updated in over 6 months. That was a year's worth of data. Now what I'm actually doing is I do have a 100K demo account that is running swing settings and running all 24 pairs at one time. So I'm gathering data now on just swing settings and up, which is really the earliest entry anyone would do with GearBox, to see how all 24 are performing on 100K account with the 0.01 starting lot. As well, I am running every individual pair, as I showed you guys, and I'll show again on a MyFX book account. Hold on, let me go to a different screen. Where did my MyFX book go? Here we go. So if we go back here into GearBox and we share a screen, you can see I'm gathering the data on each individual currency pair as well on swing settings. So I'm continuing to gather new data, but that original Excel spreadsheet you're asking about has not been updated in a period in time now. It was originally used to gather data to determine good probability entry settings with the GearBox strategy that was being designed. If I already have open trades and change the TP from Ghost plus Rio to double TP, will the TP recalculate? It should, and if it doesn't, that means I have to go make another backend update, as that was something that we had originally changed to work. So I believe it should work, but if it doesn't now, then I'll have to go back and talk to my programmer, as originally it did work. Sometimes when you make changes to things, something else stops working. So we'll have to go ahead and check that and see if that is the case. And which settings change causes Ghost gears to reset? Great question. Right now, we're going to go ahead and make it to where the lot size on the next version causes Ghost gears to reset, so that it'll automatically change that. Jeanette asked at the end, could you please post on the group Telegram how you'll trade next week? Yes, I'll share how I'm running, which will be swing, sniper, and super sniper. I'll be using all those strategies with increased lots, regular lot size, or more max pairs trading. Is it smart to increase gears come Wednesday? How much more aggressive if we don't increase it? I always have it increased by +1 on Wednesday automatically in my settings, just because I do know that after Wednesday, larger moves do tend to occur in the marketplace. And this is another great question I see as well. On some pairs, max gears is 8, and on some 12 reason. The reason for that is on the pairs that you see it is 12, they're more volatile pairs, such as some of the GBP pairs or Euro AUD, where you might enter on a gear 7. Well, if it goes farther than gear 7, you still want it to be able to enter an 8 or a 9. And if your max gears was only 8, you'd be limited there, and you would just get stuck in that trade without any new cost averaging attempts. So you still want to give it some room to potentially enter a few more trades. And that would be the reason that on some pairs, the max gears is raised to 12 in the settings, such as the GBP and Euro AUD ones. I have the MAV version. Okay. What pairs? Gracie, great question. What pairs are you using on 500,000 accounts? What is your settings on both? On all accounts here, I'm trading I have all 24 pairs here on these accounts scanning. I'm just limiting how many maximum I can enter, but these are the pairs I'm trading. These are the pairs I am using. Let's see, gonna continue. Parish asked, how much backtesting data have you used to find your gears? So Parish, one of the cool things about GearBox is, unfortunately, due to its strategy, the ghost gears, its ability to limit how many max pairs are trading, it's actually very hard and pretty impossible to backtest the strategy. So what we did is we had to do a lot of forward testing for a year to gather the gear data. And then from there, we are actually building what's known as a simulator. It's in the process right now, where it's going to take real tick data and run you through simulations of your settings and how it would have performed using live data, almost like a backtest. So we're going to create a software that basically runs through data and runs its own GearBox backtest in a way. That is also one of the things we're working on building next, as you know, it is such an advanced strategy and it is very CPU intensive. So it's very hard with how custom it is to actually test it that way. How do you account for larger account sizes? Would you rather increase the max pairs first, or just leave it on default and let dudes think? Clara, I'm be honest. I run my 50K account the same way I run. Yeah, I'm actually more conservative the larger account it goes. I'll put it to you that way. The smaller the account, the more aggressive I'll tend to be. The larger the account, the more likely I am to maybe only increase the lot size a little bit. I don't think on larger accounts, I would ideally ever actually want to increase the max pairs trading. If you have a higher risk tolerance, absolutely go do it. My focus is low risk, high probability, and high profitability, right? That's really the goal. And in doing that, I want to make sure that I'm limiting my risk. Is there a way to erase ghost change so a manual change in lot size takes effect right away? Christopher, great question. If you just go on the chart and hit delete ghost trades on each currency pair, it will erase ghost trades. All right. Explain more about how ghost trades. I'm trying to just go through these questions here and find some good ones I haven't answered to keep giving you guys some feedback. Marta is saying her VPS has been unresponsive. When I set up onboard and I chose the strategy, it froze everything. Marta, you have to give it some time. Once you choose your strategy, it should eventually load all of them. We are working on optimizing the GearBox loader to make that faster as well. We are working with our VPS providers to get more power to these VPSs since GearBox is such processing power heavy. Is it GearBox or the VPN? I can't get any activity out of my second GearBox. Yeah, Michael, if you're trying to run 2 GearBoxes on our current VPS, you probably are running into a problem with freezing. We are very aware of it. We know that people want to run 4 GearBoxes on their VPS. So we are working on a corporate level to figure out with our VPS providers how to get more powerful VPSs to our users, what that looks like, and having all those talks, because we know how important it is for all of our customers to have access to VPSs that can handle 4 GearBoxes at one single time, let alone 2. Does deposit protect increase each new week with your new balance, or it is only in the first deposit it's worked out on? Deposit protection is only based on your initial deposit and any new deposits, right? It's based on your total deposits. It will not be based on balance each week. It's going to be based on the total amount actually deposited into the account. Christopher said, why is wait 2 hours after market open set to yes if GearBox loves volatility? That's actually has to do with the spread, not volatility. The first 2 hours of market open, the spread is much higher on currency pairs. And if you don't know what I mean by the spread, I'll give you a quick visual. Let me pull it up here. So your spread's your difference between your bid and your ask here. So if we were to expand this market watch window, you can see the bid and the ask right here. And that's going to be the difference here. And when the market first opens, the spreads are super high. You know, I've seen them as high sometimes as 20, 30 pips. And you don't want to take a trade where you're already immediately in the hole 10, 15, 20 pips just because you decide to take a trade when the market opened. So yes, you want to wait 2 hours after market open, no matter what, before you really start trading. On the 50K account, use the sniper strategy with 3 max pairs. That is correct, Andreas. Paresh asked your 250 super sniper accounts. What take profit did you set up? Preesh, the reason I actually experienced such high drawdown on that account, I'll go back to that account, is I actually was using that account with ghost trades plus real trades. And I was actually in floating profit on my trades, and then they went into drawdown because they would have been out with double TP, but Ghost plus Real stays in the trades a lot longer. So again, that's why I was saying with smaller balances, you might want to use double TP. This account actually is on Ghost plus Real. So it's getting stuck in the trends a lot longer. It's waiting for larger take profits to hit before it closes trades. Double TP would have gotten in and out of these a lot sooner in that case. Does GearBox have some bugs in the settings of GBP pairs? I had some differences inside settings where they had to be exactly the same. Tomislav, I'm not necessarily understanding what you're asking. The only thing we have noticed is since some of the VPSs are having slower days with the loader, since the loader does try to apply the settings all at once, that sometimes the loader is not actually applying to every account. The only pairs that would need different entries are GBP and Euro AUD. There's 6 total. So if you don't see those at the proper entries, go ahead and put a support ticket in so I can look at it. But we are working on optimizing the GearBox loader to where obviously it'll also allow at some point you to choose your lot size and your max pairs, apply it on all the charts. But we're also optimizing it to where when it loads, instead of instantly loading it on every single chart, we're going to have it go ahead and load one at a time onto each chart automatically. So it's not instantly trying to just overload the CPU to apply it, but it individually goes. And attendee asked us here, anonymous attendee, are the GearBox FX books public? There are many public. We are going to go ahead and compile many of the public ones. The ones I showed with you guys are not currently public. I've been sharing them on developer calls weekly here to provide the most data and allow people to actually understand what they're looking at and see the accounts. But they soon will be public. Just for the first few weeks, I wanted people to tune into the calls to see the data so that they actually understood what they're looking at when they see the results, what settings are being ran, what strategy. But there are tons of beta testers that have been running GearBox for 3 to 6 months themselves that have FX books public. For example, I'll tell you, many of our beta testers I see did not run live through elections. I ran live through elections, but I actually have some of these testers' accounts pulled up right here. And when I refreshed a bunch of them, many of them actually did not run through election week. I can see here that pretty much none of them ran through election week. They were off November 3rd. This account as well, I don't believe ran through elections. Nope, they were off October 28th. So many of our live testers, they did not run through elections. This account was off on the 22nd before elections. Here's 100K running as well. They were off by the 4th before elections. They got out of all trades. Same thing here. With Amy, you can see these people all were really trying to get out before election decisions of their trades. Whereas, myself, I ran through and took the live risk for the sake of data and showing you guys how it would perform. But you can see many of these accounts did not run through elections, and some of them even went out a week or two prior to elections just to not run through that. But these are all public as well from some of our testers. Claire, to answer your question again regarding deposit protection, it only includes total deposits made to the account. It does not include profits made. So it will not adjust to protect your profit from the previous week or any of that. It'll only protect deposits into the account. So let's say you start with 10,000, you add 5,000, it's now protecting 15,000, right? So we'll take in new deposits as well. It's just protecting your total deposits that you put into the account. And that's what it means by initial. So your initial deposit's always going to be the deposits total into the account. Even if your initial was 10 and you increase it by 5, the way the software views that is it's still 15,000 has initially been deposited in this account. So yes, that's how that setting would work. Jamal, can we adjust account protections to include profits? Would have to be its own setting individually. It would have to be profit protection. And in that case, I would just say use your trailing weekly goal. Let me go back to the chat. I see we have some chats. I've been in the Q&A here. Do we have to reboot the VPS over the weekend? No, it's a good habit if you want to, but you don't need to necessarily. It might help with performance. Can I use strategy with one license to all my MT4 accounts? No, Adam, for each trading account you want to use, that's going to be a different license. So if you want to run 4 different strategies, you're going to need a platinum pass. Is there a reliable way, Daniel asked, is there a reliable way to properly measure the risk exposure on the account, such as a DD calculator, like what I've used for Einstein in the past? Daniel, we are working on a calculator. We're also working on a simulator. Tons of different updates and things are being worked on right now to continue to advance the product and take it to the next level. So as we get there, I'll continue to release those updates in the Telegram weekly with any change logs, any updates we make. If we make any updates to GearBox, the software, or to GearBox Loader, or we get GearBox Simulator done, or come out with any calculators as these things happen, I'll continue to release them. But we are working on more and more resources to help you have the best trading experience possible when using the GearBox strategy. And just for last looks again, I'm going to show you guys the main strategy. Again, the sniper strategy, Ghost plus Real, max 3 pairs trading, scanning all 24. That's what I'm running here on my largest personal account that I have. As well, I have tons of accounts you guys see running live with $10,000+ and some with 1,500, 2,000, 500, 250. Just a ton of accounts personally running to provide as much data on these calls weekly as possible. You all have been phenomenal. I believe we've covered all of the questions for the most part I've seen here. And again, I'll continue to take suggestions and ideas to go back and make this product something that you can all be proud of, something that you all love to trade and use to, have success in the financial markets. With that being said, thank you all for tuning in on this beautiful Friday, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Have a wonderful evening.